Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast. We have Jenna Evola with us today. She's helping your business grow with virtual assistants and automation at Evolve Systems. She's also the co-founder of another business called Interventional Orthopedics of Washington. So, Jenna, welcome to the pod. Tell us a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. So as you mentioned, I'm co-founder of one business. It's a medical clinic out here near Seattle, Washington, and a growth agency that I started a couple years after that, which is called Evolve Systems, where I help other service-based business owners like medical clinics optimize their workflow and do things a little bit smarter. Overhead is really crushing a lot of small businesses these days. And one of the things that I can help them with is tackling that problem by bringing in offshore talent for key positions that most small business owners don't even think that they have access to this type of resource. So my passion lately has been connecting small business owners to that resource and seeing how it changes their business, like in some cases it changes their business overnight. And it's like bringing in offshore talent is like this revolutionary tool that I just want more people to know about.
Interesting. And let's start with the orthopedics business. Why did you started that one? And yeah, give me the ins and outs of that business.
Yeah, so going on 7 years ago, my partner, who is a medical doctor, had the opportunity to start a private medical practice, and it's a very unique one. It is focused on regenerative medicine and really helping people avoid surgery, avoid the common traps that we fall into in our American medical system. That tends to be insurance based, very algorithm based, and not really looking to get people actually better. It actually, in most cases, we're putting band-aids on problems. As an example, your knee hurts. Very common problem. You have some sort of orthopedic injury going on, and you go to the orthopedic doctor, and they tell you, okay, you can get a cortisone injection, or you can go do some physical therapy, or you can have surgery. And those are really the only options that are given to people. There isn't this other option mostly given to people of, hey, let's figure out the root of the issue and try to heal from this. Um, it's kind of a foreign concept in the medical system, believe it or not. Like, let's get to the root of the issue. So that's what our practice looks to do. It's a different way of thinking, and because of that, we've never taken insurance. And so our business model as a small medical clinic is very different than most medical clinics anyway, because of that. So we had to do things a little bit differently. We are asking people to, dig into their own pockets instead of asking for insurance to pay for their medical care. And so that means we had to really learn how to do business well. We had to learn how to market. We had to learn how to find patients. We weren't being fed patients through the typical system, which is insurance referrals. Um, and so through that journey, we learned quite a lot. And one of the things that we learned is that that type of business, there's just no way around it. It requires quite a lot of administrative staff to keep things going. And that administrative staff really has to be very skilled, very tactful. They have to understand the business very well. They have to understand HIPAA. They have to protect us. So when COVID happened, a lot of things happened in the market, one being the cost of labor really went up quite a bit. And that is, for small business owners, very crushing. So when you have, like in my market, people really come in the door asking for $30 an hour just to answer the phone. And that is not something that's really sustainable for a small business that is trying to grow and feed themselves and have the business owner, the doctor, actually still have some profit at the end of each month, that they're not, paying out in labor and overhead. And a huge chunk of that overhead that we face is labor costs. So if we can bring in people from, say, the Philippines, which is what I've been doing, to fill those key spots for maybe $6 to $8 an hour instead of $30 an hour. That is a huge positive change for a small business like that.
Right, and you're also into AI. So when will be the time in which these Philippines agents will actually be fully replaced by an AI agent? Do you think that they will come soon? Do you think we're one chat GPT slash OpenAI update away from this?
I think yes and no. I think that we will, for the foreseeable future, the next few years at least, we will still need humans. People still want to interact with humans. When you call a doctor's office, you still want to talk to a person. You want to know that there are people behind the business. And I don't think that that is going away anytime soon for service-based businesses, at least local service-based businesses. Of course, there are all kinds of businesses popping up that are, essentially AI run. And we're seeing instances of maybe the first billion-dollar business that's run by one or two people and just AI. But for the vast majority of us, for us service-based business owners, I still think that focusing on the humans in your business that are leveraging AI is what is the first step, I guess. There's a lot of overwhelm in the space. I know everybody thinks that they should be implementing AI in their business, and they should. I don't disagree with that. But I think there's a lot of hype around it, and I think we're skipping. I think we're skipping one crucial piece, which is who are the people behind the AI. And in this case, it can be virtual assistants sitting in the Philippines, leveraging AI in various aspects of your business to your benefit.
Right. And in your case, how does your team leverage AI? What do they use on the CS stack, but also on the sales stack? Like, what tools are you having them use?
We keep it simple. We're using ChatGPT, like an account that really knows us very well at this point, that has been programmed with memory of all our documents and all those things. So we leverage one account as a team because it has that memory. We're also using tools like Grok and Gemini and GenSpark and Manus, and we're figuring out which tools apply best to which parts of our workflow. So every member of my team, whether they're a virtual assistant or sitting here stateside with us, they're all leveraging AI in their own capacity, in their own role. I'll give you just kind of a funny example. We have two virtual assistants helping manage our back office in our clinic. That means they answer the phones, they schedule patients, they answer complex questions about procedures. They're doing anything that like a US-based medical assistant might do. But sometimes they get asked questions that they don't know the answer to. And they have actually looked to train themselves on the questions that they don't know the answer to with AI. So they'll use Notebook LM, for example, if they get a question about a procedure that they don't really know the answer to. And they know that they don't want to waste my time as their manager. Hey, can you train me on this? Can you teach me how to answer this question? What they've done instead is they've produced podcasts with Notebook LM answering the question, and they've passed it by me and said, hey, is all of this correct? Can I train myself on this information? And I've been able to say, yes, actually, that's amazing. That saved both of us so much time because I didn't have to come in and train you on it. You trained yourself with AI, and I just had to spend the time of proving what you trained yourself on with AI. It saved me a ton of time. So for me as the business owner, this is amazing because I can go spend time on other tasks that need my attention instead of training my VAs. I have AI train them.
And how do you use AI nowadays? Do you use it to learn? How's it part of your personal stack as the manager?
I am always learning with it. So I don't use it to do my work for me. I do it to amplify my output. And I'm always looking at challenging the AI. So one thing that I notice about ChatGPT is it's a little bit too agreeable, right? Sometimes it reinforces what you already think a little bit too much. No, I want to be challenged. So I have come up with some prompts and some ways to work with the AI so that it challenges me, that it doesn't just reinforce what I think I already know or what I think I already want to do. And I think that that is maybe a missing piece with a lot of business owners trying to use AI right now. They let it reinforce what they already think, and then they get terrible output. They get AI generated feeling and looking output. It doesn't feel authentic. And I think that that's a lot of times the reason why is that they're not using the AI in the right way to get the output that they truly need.
But how do you actually constantly challenge it or prompt it to challenge you? Because it seems to always be forgetting and revolving back to its sycophantic self, which is always like agreeing with everything that you say.
This is true. The only platform that I have been able to get to
It's
work in that
Claude.
way for me, yeah, is ChatGPT, and I believe it has to do with settings. Because if you know very well how to tell ChatGPT, remember this always, don't remember this, that sort of thing, then I haven't lately. It's been doing a very good job. I mean, I'll admit, a couple months ago, I was really mad at ChatGPT and the output of it because it was giving me so much of that just reinforcement type of output that I like walked away from the platform for a month or two and I started using other platforms. Now I've come back to ChatGPT, and this just seems to be happening all the time. Platform makes an update, now it's great again. So I find myself bouncing around a lot. Every day, something seems to change. And yeah, as a business owner, this is a lot to keep up with, which is why I have my whole team on board. So I will ask my whole team, hey, is the output of X platform that we're using right now, are you seeing this too? Is it seeming kind of funky? Okay, let's move this particular project and workflow over to the next AI that we're using and see if it does better for us. And that's what we're constantly doing. I don't think we're going to be out of this phase for a long time because things are moving so fast. There's a new update on all of these platforms like every day it seems, and it's not slowing down.
Interesting. And your company, you worked with, I believe, General Motors and clients like Monster, for example. How do you leverage AI to improve your flow of clients, your outbound, your marketing, and all of that? Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, so one of the platforms I've been using for quite a long time is called Go High Level. It's a AI and automation platform for small businesses and agencies, and I try to automate as much as possible through that platform for myself and through and for my clients. So that would be automating everything from email sequences, text message sequences, a chatbot that you might put on your website that automatically answers FAQs and schedules appointments. So we try to use those available platforms, and these are like no code, easy platforms to use. Um, we leverage as much of that and automate as much of that type of thing as possible without losing the humanness in our workflow and our business. So we try to be very careful about not automating the things that actually need the human touch, and anything else we try to automate it.
And yeah, go high level. What's the price of it? And yeah, precisely. I think there was some specific use case for high level. Was it like I think there was a live chat, or there was like a white labeled platform. Like, what specific features are you using about it?
Yeah, so Go High Level has a native voice AI and text message AI built into it now that you can use. I have chosen to use some third-party platforms that actually come in and integrate directly with Go High Level and enhance. I think they do a little bit better of a job than the native Go High Level voice AI and SMS AI. But yes, what you mentioned, the installing a chatbot on your website, that is one of my favorite like go-tos that I try to get every business owner. One of these is just a AI that responds to people through the website automatically, and like I mentioned, it can answer any FAQs about the business. It can schedule appointments. It can take payments. All of these things that, For certain businesses, that might increase your conversions by quite a lot, because most of the time what I see most business owners running into is a speed to lead issue. So they don't have a problem with people inquiring about their business, and they don't have a lead flow issue. They have a responding to their leads fast enough issue. Because if they don't respond fast enough using an AI or some sort of automation, the data shows that that customer is likely on to the next one within about 2 minutes. They're already calling the next business. They've forgotten about you. So if you can't catch those people when they want to be spoken to with an AI or some sort of automation, you're just losing business. So that's my favorite. That's like the lowest hanging fruit, is getting some sort of automation going for a business that really helps with lead conversion.
And how has your business grown since the time you started it?
Oh, we've more than doubled both businesses. And since we've been able to incorporate offshore talent in both businesses, the real value has been, not only have we been able to grow, but we've also been able to stop doing 80-hour work weeks, which is really what's behind my mission. Is I see a lot of business owners still ascribing to the hustle culture mindset. And I'm done with that. I'm done with hustle culture. I'm done with grind it out 80 hours a week. Yeah, I'm a hustler. I'm doing well. When you peel back the curtain and you really start talking to business owners, they're not, like, many of them are not doing as well as they appear to be on their social media. The grind it out mentality, I think, has an expiration date. I think most business owners can do that for a period of time, which I did, but you can't do it forever. Most people. I don't want to do that forever. And if people want to do that, that's their prerogative. But I'm speaking to the business owners that know that that's not what they want to be doing long term, and they want to get out of it somehow. But they don't want to hurt their business. They want to keep growing. So that's really the only way to do it.
So, what does a day in your founder life look like?
So nowadays, it looks like logging in, greeting my whole virtual assistant team, which is grown to 7 people now. So I have 7 full-time offshore talent working for me in various different positions. And delegating. Instead of coming in and having this laundry list of tasks that I have to do that are working in the business, not on the business, I get to log in every day and I get to work on the business, and I get to delegate, and I get to say, okay, here are all the things that we need to accomplish. And I get to assign those things to people and oversee them versus doing it all myself. And it's wonderful.
And yeah, at what time do you get up? Like, do you meditate? Do you do sports, for example? What habits do you have in your life to stay happy and productive?
I love that question. Well, a few years ago, before I started this, I admit that I was miserable and I was really not taking care of myself and my own health. And that's kind of ludicrous. I own a health business. So I've been able to take my time back, and 2 days a week, I see a trainer who is 100% focused on me. I work out religiously 3 days a week now. So 2 days a week with my trainer, 1 day a week with just myself. And that is something that I feel like I've been able to take back now that I've gotten my business in order. Is I can focus on me and my physical and mental health. Then I have more energy to be able to be a leader and pour into other people, which I really was not able to do before, if I'm being honest. So yeah, my typical day now looks like this. I wake up, I have my 1 cup of coffee. I do some learning and reading. I'll usually catch up on YouTube videos. I'm really into learning from people like you on YouTube. I'm watching podcasts every day. I participate in a lot of masterminds. A lot of times that stuff happens in the morning. Then I go to my gym session. Then I continue on really more managing my team than managing the tasks every day within the team. And that has been life-changing for me. Just the ability to take back my schedule, and have an executive assistant. Like, one of the key roles that I got first was an executive assistant. That person is responsible for all of my scheduling, being kind of the go-between my clients and myself, so that I can protect my time and so that I can actually go to the gym, that I can actually go, make sure that I'm taking care of myself in a meaningful way every day, and that things are still getting done without me.
What do you think that depression rate and suicide rate is so high in the medical profession?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, that's actually been coming up a lot. Because I feel like it's something that in our industry in particular, doctors, medical, they're not talking about it. They're not talking about it in any sort of meaningful way. But this is what's going on behind closed doors. There's burnout, there's depression, there's knowing that your business is failing and maybe not being able to do anything about it, or feeling like you can't do anything about it. And yeah, I think it's maybe 300 or 400 doctors a year end up committing suicide. The percentage of doctors that are falling into this category versus all business owners is much higher. But we know that business owners, entrepreneurs, also have a higher rate of feeling isolated, feeling depressed, maybe having suicidal ideations. So yeah, I think that a big part of that problem is that doctors really do face a lot of pressure these days. And one of the biggest pressures is, like I mentioned earlier, overhead rising at a rate that they really can't keep up with. Supplies and labor have really shot through the roof and made it almost impossible for business owners to not be upside down on their practice, because this has all happened very quickly. And when doctors especially feel like they can't talk openly about this, it creates more isolation. It creates more of this downward spiral of depression. And then we hear about a really sad story and we say, oh my God, we had no idea that they were going through this. The fact is, we do know. We do know on some level, but we're just not talking about it. And it's because it's deeply shameful. Doctors are supposed to be the ones healing people. They're supposed to be the ones who know the answer to everything. They're also not expected to have their own health problems, their own mental health problems. It's a very unique industry where they really can't be honest about these things. And so I think that one of my missions is to get more doctors connected to each other so that they can openly talk about what they're struggling with in business, because there's a trickle down effect. Most doctors are, if they have a private practice, many of them are employing their family members or their spouse. It's just like my situation. And so when they're having this issue in their business, it trickles down to their family, their spouse, their community, and everybody's just kind of walking around stressed out, low level, miserable, with no idea how to get out of it. And I think it's partially because they're not talking to each other and they're not being honest about their struggles.
Wow. Yeah, love that. Thanks for mentioning that. Where can people find out more about you, Jenna?
They can go to my website, evolvesystems.ai, or they can find me just on Instagram. You can DM me. I'm Jenna.Evola is my handle on Instagram. And yeah, I would love to talk to anybody about optimizing their business with offshore talent.
So that was Jenna and Charles for another Founder Wisdom